Howdy folks, my name is Richie aka Otter, back with another Guild Wars 2 developer interview. When I was at ArenaNet Studios about a month ago, I got to meet with some of the art and sound designers for the game, and I got to just ask them some questions. So this interview is with Tirzah Bauer, the Associate Art Director, Horia Dociu, the Franchise Art Director, Drew Cady, the Audio Lead, and Jerry Shroeder, the Sound Designer. I hope you enjoy it. Obviously, this is the Crystal Desert's a place that's near and dear to Guild Wars 1 players. So how do you balance like wanting to do nostalgia things to kind of, you know, hit those players, but at the same time, you know, advance it in the story? Like how do you change things that you know that some players might not want to be changed or that kind of stuff? So what are some of the processes that you guys went through to kind of do that?
When we first started, we did identify big landmarks that players would probably expect to see. And then from that point, we kind of went like the spiritual, wanted to hit that emotional resonance with old players, as well as making something that's refreshing and new and exciting. And so we just took inspiration from everywhere we could think of, from old concepts we were amazing that we never got to really pull off in Guild Wars 1, and just put them all together and iterate and just create a world that both old and new players will enjoy.
You know, I think the Arena Art Department does not ever want to do anything that's a rehash. You know, I mean, just for our own entertainment, there's nothing interesting about just up-resing porting over something old and up-resing the textures and saying,
sure,
oh, good enough, put a new mission in here.
Yeah.
I think, you know, the old game kind of, you know, being gone for a while kind of it plays its own filter in that you go, hey, what were the parts that stuck out? And what were the things that we loved how they worked? And what kind of was, you know, hit or miss or whatever? And what did the players love? And so there's always this like natural filtering that happens. And those are kind of the little jewels you put in here and there. And then the rest of it is going, what couldn't we do on the last one? And what would we want to do? And oh my God, I've seen this new reference. And kind of just mishmashing it all on together and cooking up this new thing that has these, you know, occasional chocolate chips of nostalgia, but really feels
chips of nostalgia.
I
like
delicious.
It. That's right, that one. That's the name of the video.
That's first. You guys have said that in any other interviews. Well done.
Well played. Chips of nostalgia. I love that.
It's a Crystal Desert cookie.
Amazing. Sorry. From a sound point of view, what kind of new instruments, what kind of things did you get to play with this time around that you weren't able to maybe in a jungle environment?
I think this is the start of what we really dug into was very much emotion. We wanted to kind of draw from what we really liked and what we were imagined from a sound standpoint when you go to the desert, you know, and we really worked with textures, some of them very literal textures, like bringing in sand and dropping that onto cymbals and making textural ambient beds out of that for some of the wind tones and drone tones and things like that. As far as musically, McLean Damer, our composer, did a great job of bringing in a really interesting, rich palette of very exotic solo instruments that, you know, we hadn't heard a lot of those before.
Yeah,
you know?
It's kind of taking, you know, what we did before, which was bringing it up a notch, getting it, going and recording it in Germany, you know, and having this rich, full, you know, played orchestra, and then augmenting that with these new instruments. So stitching it all together and really having this vibe of the desert.
And I think those cool. Soloists, they
really cool.
They really added an emotional, almost like a solo vocalist, you know, very touching moments where they would accent, you know, a particular moment in the story or that. It just really, you know, brought things together.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, I think finding, like you mentioned sand and the literal stuff, and then it's kind of thinking outside the box and what makes the same types of sounds, and we kind of we had these large balloons that were 4 feet in diameter, and we're rubbing them on this rug because it's a little ribbed, and it's sand-like, and it was a great sound for the sand escalator and other stuff. So yeah, we're kind of trying to find, you know, that's always the exploring in the sonic realm is finding textures that are like other textures, so it broadens your library or palette, but still kind of conveys the same thing in a different way. So it's
I think it's all about
pleasing.
emotion and like feeling.
It
Hey,
is.
this is what it should feel like. Not this is
This is what it
sounds.
is.
Sounds like
Yeah.
same with the lighting, color palettes, all that stuff. It's all about
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
you know making a dreamlike game as opposed to just the most realistic game. There's plenty of people doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a simulator.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a favorite like new creature that has an awesome sound effect, and what did you use to make it? Or
Wow, and we had a lot of fun with the creatures, and probably the most irreverent and just out there creature was the Choyas. You know, those guys
I
are
just saw them like right before I came up here. I was
Yeah.
like, why didn't you see? I'm like, oh, there's a quagga, and I'm like, no, that's not a quagga.
That's a really
That's not a
bristly quagga. I don't know that I necessarily want one for a pet, but you know they're pretty awesome. So yeah, we used just such a variety of sounds for them. Their rolling sound when they're just after you or whatever is actually an inner tube put on the end of a Honda Civic tailpipe, and then revving the Honda Civic, so you get that
Oh my God.
chattery, just outrageous sound.
They're always
And-
out doing crazy things for making sounds.
Yeah,
It's always interesting.
It's fun.
That's great. What amazes me is just like you go to this whole new kind of like area, and like all the NPCs have different clothing on, and like you walk by booths and stalls and stuff like that, and like just every little like even like non-interactive pieces are just like all that, like carpets and different things like that. It blows me away. Do you have like any like favorite like areas in I guess you can only talk about the first zone that we saw, but what part of that area do you guys?
I don't think I have a favorite, but I will say I enjoyed this project so much because the diversity of areas we got to build, from like the big broad strokes to the small details, like we were able to do all of it. And we have 5 huge maps, and inside of these maps there's just multiple different biomes of like super different areas. And the environment artists and the prop artists, character creature team just had a lot of fun filling that all up with interesting things.
Almost literally every corner you turn around, it feels a little different. Just as though you'd be exploring. It's just, oh, now it's cooled off, and oh, now there's a pool of water, and it's teal, and whatever. Oh, now it's orange, and just everything. These huge palatial, lavish estates, and then these like dirt poor sort of tents and whatever, and going smoothly between each one and having them be quite so different but still seamless. I think there's no way people are going to get bored. They could spend hundreds of hours in this desert, and it's not beige. It's, an alone in wonderland. It really is. It feels like a Disneyland where every pocket is different. And the thing that freaked me out, honestly, was just to see what this sort of mature dev team with a mature tool set could do. It's some of the biggest maps we've ever done, and at the same time, they're some of the most detailed. And I'm like, how? How did you put all this junky? Well, we had this brush, and we asked the programmers for this and that, and a lot of people don't quite realize that the engine's constantly growing. It's like a living organism, and it's not, made to hit a certain thing that other games are doing. It's more like, hey, we want to get across this fun little thing or this gorgeous little moment or whatever. Can we get a new shader? Can we get a new plugin? Whatever. And so brick by brick over the last God knows how many years, I mean, this thing's constantly getting better, and not just what you guys see, but how the ease of use. And so that's what allowed us, I think, to make the giant maps.
We were I've been on this for about a year and a half, and all of us artists really got to hit the ground running. We had the tools we needed, we had the prototypes, we had everything, and we were just able to like create. And so it really shows in just the sheer vast explorable areas we have in this.
A lot of games are made in like 6 months because the other time is spent like mucking about with tools and scratching your head, and this was just like pure creation. I mean, like there's no go turn over every stone. It's beautiful. It really is. There's no crummy areas.
Yeah, that's what I've been experiencing just so far. Like there's no like just area, it's just flat sand. It's just everything, every corner you just turn. It's amazing. Well, thank you guys so much.
Oh, thank you.
I can't wait to play it more. It's amazing.
Good job. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having
Thanks,
me.
Richie.
Thanks.
How do you guys know each other? Just from
She watches my streams.
Man, that's very cool. Well, pleasure to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
And I'll see you at
Are you thinking about getting Guild Wars 2 Path of Fire? If you could use the link in the description below, it doesn't cost you anything extra and it helps support my videos and streams. Would really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.